Welcome back. In this video, we're going to discuss how to fix Sql Fails Fast. And there are a few of them. Now, this is not an all-inclusive list, but this is a list that can get you started. Starting with issue number 1, the date fields. Sometimes that date field can be stored as a text or a numeric value. I don't know how many times I've gone to try to run a query only to discover that it's in a date timestamp and I cannot report on it and the user can't understand it either. I've got a fix for that. The other thing is taking advantage of calculations and using it to our advantage. We want to do as many calculations as we possibly can in our SQL query so that we don't have to start the process in SQL and finish it in another tool. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just do as many calculations as possible in the query and then just simply lift and land it? We're going to get into that too. The other is a quality check. Sometimes there are missing emails, missing last name, or some other missing critical field or critical data that we don't have. We want to be able to check those flags or those issues prior to the report getting to the customer. There's a fix for that as well. The other thing is data cleanup. Now we all know that in some databases, the labels or column names are a bit of a mess. Well, there's a workaround to that. We're going to get into how to clean that data up so that it can look appealing to the customer. We can also use all of these steps as a bit of a template for future requests. So let's start the journey to fixing these fails fast. Okay, we're in our SQL working area here. You can see we have a query, and when we run it, this is the result that we get. And we can see that the date format is problematic for 2 reasons. 1, it would be difficult for the customer to read that. And 2, it creates a reporting nightmare for us. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. And I'm going to say format, cast, order date as date. What we're doing right here is we're explicitly telling it what format we want it to be in, what we want it to look like as a result. All right, so we're going to go ahead and run that and see what happens. All right, so we have our new order of date format, which is readable. The format here means format this to look like this. The cast means we want to make sure that this is a date field that we're working with. So there may be times when you have something that's a number, a date field that is a number. It depends on what's going on in the back and what the data type is. When you have mixed characters like this also, it could be a date, it could be a text field. Sometimes it could be stored as text, or it could be stored as a date or a number, right? Depends on how it's coded in the back end. When we do a cast function, we're guaranteeing that it is a date that we're seeing that comes out of there. So there you have it. We have fixed the first SQL fail. So now we want to add some calculations to make our life easier and to make a smooth transition for when the data is exported to Excel. We can do a lot of that here. So we're going to start off with a sum. It could be that I spelled that wrong. The red lines are actually helper lines there. Nothing to be afraid of. Letter over here. Have to have a group by in here. And we have the quantity, the unit price, and we've got the total here. So what have I done here? So I've summed up the quantity and the unit price here. I've also multiplied the order quantity by the unit price. So here we have a nice little calculation. I do want to add something else up here, though. It's not quite a calculation, but it will help us identify our first and last name. We'll have that together. Cleaner reporting. Could be difficult to see the first and the last name as it should be when it's separated like this. So you can see now that that customer full name there is together. So here we have it. Nice calculations. So we've arrived at another flag, and that is, another fail that we can correct, and that is adding a flag so that we can check the data ourselves for issues where it supposedly doesn't match. So in this example, we're going to check for the email and the last name. If there are blanks in those fields, we're going to go ahead and create a flag for that. So start off with a PE email address. Okay, we've got to add that field here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add that to our group by statement, because we have calculations and that needs to be included in there. Just a note, side note right there. And I'm going to go ahead and get into our actual flag. We first have to add the field and then the flag. So case when PE email address, if this is no, or spelled one there. All right, so that's no, spaces, then the last name, right? Then we want to go ahead and want to review the last name. Else, it's okay. Okay. So what do we have here? Case when the email address is empty or blank, we want to review the email. If the last name is empty or blank, we want to review it. So this is our flag, and it's a good one for us to have so we can challenge issues that come at us in terms of dealing with data that might be bad in the system. We can have our check, and we can also prove that and present that if we need to do that. So there you have it. So we've arrived at where we can start cleaning our data up. What I'm going to do is start renaming these columns. I've got a space in there. See how it looks right here? It's very congested. So let's see if we can make that look just a little bit better. You don't have to do this on all caps, but I want to make this stand out. The word as does not have to be in caps either. It's just a preference. Sometimes it's upper, sometimes it's lowercase, as you can see right here. list just for consistency. Quarter, month. And we're going to capitalize quantity. Unit price. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that. All right, middle name, last name. Okay, we still have the congestion there. Go in here, put a little space in there, run it again. All right, now we can see the values a little bit better. Oh, we have order date. That needs to be. Just doing this so this can stand out for us. New order date. So now that we have what we want, we're going to start doing some cleanup of unnecessary fields. I'm going to get rid of that. The name field. Now, try to make things a little bit easier. Make sure that I don't have the order by referencing that. Down here, we're sorting by last name. But since we have a new field that we wanted to look at, we're going to use that. Every time a change is made, typically I go ahead and just check the query. Since we have already fixed this order date, we probably don't need to see it. If I were to comment that out and run it, we would be okay. So we're going to get rid of the order date here. That's another thing you can do to check your data. So when you make changes, sometimes you can comment it out before you actually delete it. Make sure you're good. And look, we have a nice, neat report. We have successfully fixed SQL fails. We've put some flags in place, and we're good to go. We've got a good foundation under our belt. Keep learning, and I'll see you in the next